Hi, this is Winn Claybaugh. Welcome to my Best of Masters audio blog. For over 20 years, I have interviewed hundreds of the most successful leaders in and out of the beauty industry for Masters Audio Club. Next up is one of my favorite clips. Listen, learn, and enjoy. Pam, this really is a great day for me because you were the first person, the first salon owner that actually put me on a plane to teach a seminar, and I felt so guilty about the fact that you had to fork out money for a plane ticket that I didn't even charge you a fee. But as we remember, 10 years later, I came back, I made up for it.
Absolutely.
To give our listeners more information on who Pam is and her incredible experience in the industry, now, are you ready for this? In Tucson, Arizona, which has a population of only 750,000 people, they have 5 locations, 3 of which have a day spa, a total of 227 staff, which, as we get into this topic of building a team, I can imagine that you have some brilliant information. I mean, sometimes I think back in how I struggled with 5 people, finding 5 people that wanted to play my game, and how you do that with 227. Pam is a board member for Intercoiffure. She's also a member of iSpa. In fact, she's on the Day Spa committee at iSpa. She's a member of TSA, a member of the Chain Salon Association. Again, a wealth of information, a wealth of experience. So Pam, lead us into this whole thing. First of all, 227 people, staff members. I want to find out how you started to build this, and with that number of people, how do you keep it going?
Well, I didn't have the luxury when I began to build a team as such. When I started 20 years ago, team was not the word that you used, nor was it the thought that you had necessarily.
Pam, do you find that maybe is the downfall of some salons, that especially when they're starting off new, they just want a breathing body, and they're really not maybe taking the time to look for and attract the right type of a person?
Probably. It depends how desperate you are. If you've already made the commitment and you already have your overhead set and you have an empty salon, sometimes you don't give yourself the opportunity to select the right people. So I think that today, if I were to look back, although I don't feel like I made that big of a mistake, then I've sure made a lot sense. But the people who were drawn to me, we made a great team. If I were to do it today, with what it takes to open up a salon or a spa and build a team, I would have done a lot more homework.
Well, I'm going to ask you about that, because what do you look for? And I actually have that question twofold, because you're going to actually respond and answer to a salon owner what they might look for, but also you're responding to a staff member of what they would want to be, how they need to play that game, so to speak, in order to be a valuable member of a team.
Well, what we do now is when someone comes to apply for a job, we interview them, but we have a short quiz that we give them. And it talks about personality types and what is really important to them.
Give us some ideas. What's part of this quiz?
Well, are you active? Do you like things to change? Or do you like to live on the edge? Do you like responsibility? Do you like to save money? Do you like to read ingredients on a package, or do you smell the product first? If given the opportunity, if someone called you and said, do you want to go to Vegas for the weekend, and you had a full book, would you in fact go, or would you in fact feel so much responsibility that you'd show up for work?
Okay, now prior to that question, I was wondering what those other questions had to do with this. That one makes a lot of sense. What does this test teach you about these people?
Well, it actually,
what are you looking for?
I'm looking for what's important to them in life. Because when they come to me, they have already a set of values, whether I agree with them or not, that they actually work by. Even if they've never had a job before, they've lived by these values, if they've been taught these values. So it's really important that I understand what's important to them, because then I know how they will work in the position that I'm looking at them for. For instance, if someone took this test and they came up in a category which showed that they were orange, which means that they love excitement, they like to live on the edge, they want you to have responsibility, they don't want much, they like things to always change, they would not be my first selection for a front desk person to take appointments. The desk wouldn't move fast enough for them. But they could be a wonderful salon coordinator. We're out greeting the people, meeting them, making people feel at home, doing whatever they needed to do in that part of the service. But if you put them in a position that required absolute stability and calmness, they wouldn't be successful. So I think that in order to help people be successful, because that's my objective, when I hire you, even though you have a position to fill and a job to do, one of the first things that's important to me is that you can become successful in that. Whether it's doing towels in our back room, whether it's shampooing our clients in our apprentice program, or if you're working behind the front desk and taking appointments. Success is very important. And I think success very early in a job makes you strive to continue to be successful. If you feel like a failure the first 90 days you're in a job, why would you stay in it?
Perfect. Now, Pam, I also happen to know that you have 40 people who have been with you for over 10 years. And not only that, but it seems like you kind of broke through one of those taboos in business in that you have brought family members in as not only staff members but partners, which brings a whole nother level of how to build a team. How do you create that type of loyalty? First of all, working with family, and second of all, keeping people long term.
Well, I think that the first thing that happened with me is that the people who originally were with me when I began became family. So that we had a connection, we were on the same page, we were moving the same direction, and we had a goal. My family wasn't brought in until probably 4 years after we opened the salon. By that time, we're ready to open our second location. We started an apprenticeship program, and actually my daughter was our first apprentice.
Wow.
Now, she was in the apprenticeship program for 2.5 years because we didn't want to lose her and we didn't know what to do with her. But in the process, because we were all a family, she just fit right in. We've actually always had a wonderful relationship, so just because we work together doesn't mean that that will be destroyed. In fact, it's enhanced it. In the process of developing young talent, we have given them a place to grow. And I really believe that people don't necessarily want to leave anywhere they are if they are given the right directions and the right leadership to become successful where they are. And that's my job as a leader, is to instill those qualities and share those things with people so that they can grow as well as myself.
That's what I want to know. Give me those pointers. What are those pointers?
Respect, listening, being willing to make a mistake and admit it. For me, the easiest thing in my business is to say, I'm wrong. I really made a mistake.
Is that because you're a woman?
I don't know. It could be the way I've lived my life. I know that I'm not a success because of my successes. I'm only a success because of my failures. Because that's made me take a look at who I am, what direction I'm going, and what do I have to give these people and my business and the rest of the world. And I believe that if you feel like you're a success all the time and you can't make a mistake or admit to one, it sets you apart from not only the people you work with, the people you live with.
Yeah.
So that's probably one asset that I have, is humility comes with me. I mean, it's not that I work to be humble. I don't mean that. But I feel like we have to agree to disagree. And in the past several years, we've been doing a lot with personal development with our employees. And we have a linguist who is a doctor of communication. And she has been coming in and teaching people at every level how to listen to one another and how to listen to themselves.
Sounds like it's almost like family marriage therapy.
Well, actually, it's really interesting because probably out of the 64 people or 65 people who have already gone through this program, we probably have 12 who, after going through a 6-week program, have invited their spouses or their significant others to participate in a class with this woman. And it has changed their lives.
That's wonderful.
So in building a team, I think it's important that not only they be successful emotionally and psychologically, you need to share the wealth. So therefore, I've made it very easy for my employees or my coworkers or my partners to become as successful financially as is possible.